Okay, so in this final lecture, we're going to very briefly compare both of our models, our OpenSeesPy model and our custom implementation that we finished up the last section with. And I suppose there's not going to be any surprises here. We could kind of see as we were developing our OpenSeesPy model that the results were coming out and looking very, very similar to our own custom model. So we had a good feeling, or I had a good feeling. Certainly when I was initially developing this, that the validation was going to be successful, and sure enough, that's what we see on screen here. So over on the right hand side, we have the OpenSeesPy model we've just finished making, and on the left hand side, we have our custom implementation from the end of the last section. And on the face of it, both of them look like they are in perfect agreement. And in fact, if we orbit around, we can see that if I just have a look here, we're looking at the resultant displacement, which is 1.34, and then in our model over on the left we've got 1.351. so you're down into very, very, very minor discrepancies between the two, and I wouldn't worry too much about that. So we're seeing excellent agreement between both models, and we can rattle through the rest of the components here. We can look at the Z displacement, so minus 1.28 in the same location. What have we got on OpenSees? Minus 1.273. Again, I would call that close enough. Let's look at the X displacement, 1.28. Do we see the same thing down here? What have we got? 1.27. Yeah, exactly. And again, don't be too worried about the fact that one model has it over on the right hand side and one model has the maximum over on the left. You know, the structure is symmetrical, so it's kind of a toss of the coin as to whether or not the maximum would appear on the left over on the right. So I'm not too concerned about that. I don't know why it keeps jumping around when I change different viewports. I'm in two different instances of VS Code here, so I'm not sure why that happens. But anyway, the important thing is that the two sets of models are agreeing with each other. So on the Y displacement, remember that was a much smaller magnitude, minus 0.004, and then over on this side, what are we looking at? Minus 0.004 again, at the same level within the structure. So all in all, I would call that a very successful validation. I'm very, very happy with that. We can have really good, strong confidence that our model that we've implemented with our own custom implementation of the Reissner-Mindlin element is in very, very good agreement with the battle-tested OpenSeesPy. Or can we? Right, because you might think everything is looking hunky-dory here, we're happy enough, there's good agreement, but watch what happens over in my model, in our custom model. Watch what happens when I come up here and I start changing the input parameters. Let's say I just change n alpha from 10 to 12. Right, so what has that done? That has just changed the number of, if I look at this model over here, all that does is changes the number of segments along that circumference that we're breaking our shell up into. So we've increased it from 10 to 12. Let's run this thing again and see what happens. Okay, this is the displacement that we get. So it all goes to pot. You can imagine how disappointed I was when I first was writing this code, and I'm sort of testing it, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking everything is going great here. And then you start changing some of the parameters, and all of a sudden this happens. So obviously this is happening for a very well-known reason, which we are going to dig into in the next section. And it's actually quite interesting because you'll find, like, we changed n alpha to 12 there, and of course it turns all of our results to garbage, rubbish, essentially, right? But okay, so we went from 10, everything's fine, go to 12, it all goes to pieces on us. Let's see what happens when we go to 13, right? Run it again, and we get a different weird shape. Let's try 14. Run it again, another weird shape. Let's try 15. And we're back. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to have happen. I couldn't remember which ones it worked for. But when we change it to 15, all of a sudden, everything looks good again, right? So if I change that back to the resultant, we've got 1.34. Now, this is 1.446. So something funny is happening here, because the shape is looking okay, but the numerical agreement isn't quite as good as it was before. So there is something going on in our code. On the surface, it looks like it's all going well, but small changes in our input parameters are having a significant effect on the end result. So that is something that we're going to dig into in the next section. We'll unpack what exactly is going on. We'll work out what is the solution to it, and then we'll implement that solution in our code. So hang tight. We'll fix this pretty quickly in the next section. So I'll see you then.